Hey guys, welcome back. Today I am working on week 43, Project Life. I'm starting with my photos this week. I've got a huge enlargement and just a couple of other ones. This is one of those like October weeks, so a lot of my photos were just in my October almost daily album. In fact, 3 of these ones were in that album as well. So I kept it at 3 and just did a big photo enlargement. I'm just going to leave it at that and kind of just tell 2 sort of bigger stories for this week. So the other photos are kind of just more placeholders. As far as products go this week, I'm really just using a few bits and pieces out of my stash. So I grabbed a couple of sets of cards from Studio Calico. They were sitting in my little scrapbook.com holder, so I picked them out because this pink one was on top, and I thought there's kind of neutral photos, but there's also kind of pink photos in here, so I grabbed those cards out and didn't end up using any of them, and so I grabbed some other more. I thought I would stick with kind of neutral colored cards. I was going against my kind of instinct to play up the pink. I thought, well, I'll just stick with neutral. And I kind of had a little bit of trouble with it. Not necessarily because I was working with neutrals, but just because I wasn't really sure where I was going in terms of kind of theme this week. I had picked out the idea of neutrals, but I mean, when you're working with stash cards, you don't necessarily always have exactly what it is that you think you might want here. I'm really just looking at patterns and playing. I guess I decided maybe I would try a little bit of a darker pattern to balance out that very large, kind of quite dark photo. I know that the middle 3x4 card I want to probably stamp a title and type some journaling on. So I do know that that needs to be sort of lighter and at least a little bit neutralish so that I can, see all of that. And the rest I kind of am not sure about. I really liked the 4x6 card that I've got up the top left at the moment. I really liked that, and I wondered about a title card. But then I wasn't really sure where else I was going. So I went and grabbed some more cards, like the stash cards that I've got on my desk, nowhere near my entire stash. I thought, okay, I give up on the neutral for now and just kind of embrace the pink tones, embrace the pinkness. I figure when I struggle like this, it's often because I'm trying to force myself to do something that doesn't feel particularly natural to me. So my main instinct was to go for pink. So I'm just going to pull the pink cards back out. I did move that sort of neutrally floral bordered card down to the bottom. It works quite nicely with my little Halloween live stream there. You can see me. I'm going to keep forcing it, but I'll just talk through it. I'm going to use that down here with my kind of Halloween photo because it felt a little bit Halloween-y to me, that kind of hand-drawn floral look. And the rest I'm just going to kind of just go with the pink. So it's very hard to see on screen here. The card I end up with, my title card, is kind of a very light pink wood grain. So, not super pink, but a little bit pink. And now I'm just going to leave it at that. And I'm going to start kind of working on this spread. I am going to keep things pretty simple, she says, after all of that faffing around. I just kind of wanted to get it done at this point. So I've pulled out a few older stamp sets, just I knew that this photo is this sort of main focus of this spread and was very coffee orientated, so I did pull out a coffee stamp set, and you can see me here trying to force it. Like I stamped one, which seemed really appropriate because we'd kind of gotten up really early and gone to get breakfast, and we both definitely needed a really big coffee at that point. So that stamp says get up, get coffee, get going. It seemed appropriate, but there was kind of this gap on the left-hand side. I thought I was going to stamp another stamp in there, but in the end I decided I'd pull a little bit of pink into that photo. I guess just for consistency, there's going to be a lot of pink through the rest of the spread, and so I would add a tiny touch of pink into that photo. It's not a huge amount, but just enough to kind of balance both sides out here. Now this 4x6 card, I know I'm going to stick my photo down, but I also know I want to type a story onto here. But before I do that, I'm just going to I'm going to stack some stamps and some alphas. I have pulled out a bunch of alphas there, predominantly pink ones, and I'm gonna stack a stamp. So I'm grabbing this, I can't remember, I think it's the Get Messy stamp set from Citrus Twist, and I'm just going to stack a couple of stamps. One says creativity, and then I cut out a little ampersand from the middle of a sentiment so that I could stamp and then I've left a space in there before I just run that straight through my typewriter, typed out my journaling, and now I'm going to add in my second word. Now, I should have done just a little bit of planning beforehand. I wanted it to say creativity and costumes because it was our Halloween live scream. I did dress up, and so I wanted to put costumes, but you can see it's not going to fit. I even made sure I had the right alphas that had all of those letters in pink, those little Pink Fresh Studio alphas. I just don't have the space, so I left it at creativity and costume. I could have like found some smaller alphas or stamped it. I've just left it as is. I spent quite a lot of time sort of overthinking this particular spread of Project Life, and at this point I decided that enough was enough. Let's just ignore the perfectionism and just go with what we've got. Now, I love these alphas. They're super old chipboard alphas from Citrus Twist. I don't have a whole lot of letters, or not a whole lot of useful letters left in them. I did have enough to spell out the word nom on top of my Halloween candy. That's all I'm going to do. It's pretty self-explanatory, that big close-up photo of the candy there. And then I'm going to grab this, and again, I'm sorry, I can't remember the name of the stamp set. I will leave the links for it down in the description box. I'm just going to use one of these little sentiments just to stamp really simply underneath my beautiful peony photo. So that one's certainly the simplicity that I was looking for. That card is it. So now I'm going to work on my title card. I'm just picking out what kind of alphas I want to use, and I'm going to end up using these Heidi Swap color story, is that the name of the collection? These stickers, I've got a couple of sheets of these, so I'm just going to use this to spell out the word week because there's still plenty of E's in here. I'm just alternating, swapping out the E's for the K, so then they match, kind of, they're not all the same except the end letter. And then I'm just going to stamp the week number. So got these number stamp sets from Citrus Twist, and I'm going to just stamp in black because there's a lot of black on this spread. I'm going to stamp the week number right next to week, and oh yep, that's me stamping the week 45, and then realizing, oh, it's not week 45, I'm doing week 43. So here you go. You might be wondering, oh, how did she magically erase black ink stamps? I didn't. I just got really lucky that I had two pieces of that 4x6 wood grain sort of card. And so I peeled the alphas off, slapped it onto a new sheet, and restamped the correct week number. And I'm just going to add a label. Now, these are my like pre-printed kind of digital labels. Which is super handy having a jar of them. Just sometimes they're just not, there's just not the right one in there. So this one isn't exactly right. It's just kind of close enough. I decided to opt for not pink just to give something else in there. Use this kind of tealy blue because there's a few other kind of spots of blue in this layout. And then because I've stuck it onto the right hand side there was this really odd gap in the left. So I used the little piece, the very little piece of the label that I trimmed off, stuck that onto the left hand side, and I'm just going to kind of create like this title strip across the bottom of this card. So all I'm going to do is peel off these labels, these alpha stickers again, just to kind of spread them out a little bit and make the sort of title a little bit more even across that card. And then I've got one, I realize I haven't done my middle 3x4, so I've got one more 3x4 card to do. It's going to be super simple. I'm just going to grab a stamp set here, peel off a stamp. I'm just going to stamp a stamp at the top of the card and then run that through my typewriter and actually type out my story underneath. This is relating to that coffee photo, so a little lovely sentiment works nicely for that. And then that is finally this week all done. There was a whole lot of kind of faffing around. I got there in the end, but boy, it was just one of those times where I was trying to fight myself the whole way through. I guess sometimes that just happens. Hey, thanks for watching today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. If you want to keep watching, there are a couple of videos on screen. Otherwise, I'll see you again really soon. Bye.